Hey there, hello there. Welcome back to Ladies Can We Talk. We always say we hate to talk over the music of our fabulous Krista Branch, but I want to jump in because this segment we have it's a new friend of mine joining us. Her name is Tamara Colbert, and she is involved in working on the Convention of the States project. And you may recall, if you're a regular listener, that we had on Senator Colbert 2 weeks ago talking about the substance of why this effort is being made to call a Convention of the States to consider amending the Constitution. But Tamara is going to talk to us about what is going on in terms of getting this movement going around the country. So, Tamara, hello. Do we have you?
You do. Thank you for inviting me, Debbie. I love your show. I love your website because you are talking to women on all the right things, which is needing to speak up on the issues and helping women understand their true power. So hats off to you. Thank you.
Well, thanks so very much. I appreciate that. I love doing this show. I think it's obvious. But
I know.
Well, I met Tamara a few weeks ago at a Texas Public Policy Foundation meeting and actually had a chance to talk to her at great length. So the effort is to get different state legislatures to get behind the idea of calling a convention of the states. And one of the beauties of this is Congress does not have to initiate this effort to amend the Constitution. So you're part of all this, getting the states on board around the country. So how is the project going?
So it's going amazing, and I'm the co-director. I used to be the only state director for Texas for the last 2.5 years. But now we have 65,000 volunteers and supporters across the state. So I have asked one of our early volunteers, Paul Hodson, to be my co-director. So he and I are kind of a yin and yang. When you've got 65,000 volunteers and we're growing about 1,000 volunteers a week right now, it's pretty amazing. We are so excited. We have got all kinds of things in the planning stages from town halls across Texas, and those are going to begin after Super Tuesday on March 1st. And as you know, Governor Greg Abbott has recently made the Convention of States one of his highest priorities for the 85th legislative session. And we see things in the state going in a positive direction, and nationally it's even greater. We've pre-filed or filed in 27 states so far, anticipating 8 more filing in 2016. We have active leadership in all 50 states, including the 4 states that have already passed, which are Alaska, Alabama, Florida, and Georgia, and have more than 1 million volunteers and supporters around the nation right now.
Okay, I can hardly keep up. You might talk as fast as I do. I'd like to commend you on that. I grew up in upstate New York. That's my excuse. But I want to go back. So did you say actually 4 states have passed something related to Convention of States?
4? Yes, ma'am. 4 states have passed already: Alaska, Alabama, Florida, and Georgia. And I want to share something with you that's it's historic. Last year in 2015, the Convention of States project filed its legislation in 37 states simultaneously in 1 year. That has never happened ever before in our nation's history. So we saw things really get moving last year. We've got 4 states that have passed, and I'll tell you that the response I've heard from a lot of state legislators across the nation is that they are on fire even more to get this done so that the states can get back to holding the true power in America and not the federal government.
You know, it's interesting. I did ask Senator Colbert this, but I want to be really clear because we have coming up in the next segment a gentleman who's also an activist and is with an organization that's concerned about the Convention of States and whether that would lead to, kind of somehow get off the rails, get carried away. And so when you mentioned this being filed in 37 states, does that mean exactly the same provisions were filed in all 37 states, or do they vary?
No. This is Mike Ferris and Mark Meckler, the 2 co-founders of Convention of States Project, really had looked at precedent. They have consulted with top legal scholars in the nation on Article 5 and our convention process from the time our nation was being founded up until now. And they really realized, based on precedent, that in order to use Article 5, you have to have an identical application. That really is kind of the premise of everything. And there's a reason for that, because number one, it really eliminates any legal recourse from the Congress or anybody else saying you don't mean the same thing. Well, yes, we actually do, and this is what we're doing. And also, when we get to a convention, it means that the delegates or those people commissioned by their state legislatures to attend, they must only discuss what is relevant under that resolution that was passed in their states. And so that's what's really exciting. It's one of the ways we know it can't get out of control. But I want to add one really important thing. Tomorrow, the Iowa caucuses kick off.
We heard that.
You know, there's so much craziness right now, but I think what's really important for your listeners is that no single president can save America single-handedly, nor can he or she fix the biggest issues that we are facing, because America wasn't founded on just voting in the right people. We were founded on the premise that free people must be vigilant and active from the local, state, and federal political process, right, to maintain our Constitution. And we've really lost that. And through the Convention of States, we are trying to educate citizens and legislators. You hold the power. This is your country, and you hold the power.
Okay, I'm going to, we have just a couple of minutes left here, and I want to be sure our listeners, because we're in North Texas, know about an event coming up on February 9th. Do you want to tell about that?
We are really excited. We're going to have Senator Tom Colbert and co-founder Mark Meckler in Dallas at the Museum of Biblical Art on February 9th from 7 to 9 p.m. It's going to be a Convention of States town hall. It's going to have a huge Q&A. They're going to talk about what Governor Abbott has endorsed when he did on January 8th of this year, and what that means for Texas. We are going to have legislators present, so we're excited about that. And it's free to the public. You can go to cosaction.com/Texas, and tomorrow morning, all of that information will be posted.
Okay, and the reason I'm really glad to hear, and this is my last thought about it, you mentioned having town halls. I think that people around the country will hear advocates saying this is the greatest thing. We've got to meet and talk about America and solve these problems, and you'll hear concerned people or who are opposed to it saying this is a very dangerous thing. So the best thing listeners can do is to get informed yourself, and so these town halls are to actually answer the kinds of concerns that anyone might have. And so they should, I would suggest, read up ahead of time, come informed, listen, be ready to ask questions, because this is potentially country changing. And go ahead,
Debbie. This is such a great opportunity. I get to talk every day with common sense Texans about the Constitution and the power that they have. And what I love is that Americans, and especially this millennial generation, they're not being taught that. This is now, we get the country that we choose. And if we choose liberty and freedom, one of the best ways to do that through an education process is going to be Convention of States Project.
I'm talking with Tamara Colbert, and we're going to have to sign off here, but one last time, could you give the website people should go to get information?
Yes, cosaction.com/Texas to learn more about the February 9th event with Senator Tom Colbert and co-founder Mark Meckler.
Tamara Colbert, thank you so very much for joining us. And ladies, can we talk tonight?
Thank you so much, Debbie. Have a great rest of your show.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay.